Um, all right, guys, it's Colin Nathan Alim, the real estate boy, and welcome to the Wednesday new agent trading for the Boss Network. So today we have a special guest. Usually, what we'll do, or our usual format, is that we're going over different real estate books. So we've been going over Sold by Dennis Green, but what I wanted to bring you guys, what I wanted to bring on for you guys, okay, is one of my partners. Um, Sometimes in this real estate space, you may feel isolated sometimes. It's like, oh, hey, it's just me. But I do want you to know, as far as the resources that we have for you at Real, that you have a plethora of individuals, heavyweight individuals in this industry that you have access to. So I wanted to bring on my partner, Marvin, wanted him to come on so you guys can see his face, hear his Don Cornelius voice, and and just tell a little bit about himself, and really wanted to give you guys some new agent training from his perspective, because sometimes I may say it from one way, but he has a whole different other way. So he's in the Atlanta market. So as far as the technical things, of course, it's different in Philadelphia, but as far as the marketing piece goes, it's all the same, man. So I don't want to steal your thunder, Marvin. Just jump on in, man. Tell the guys, your partners, a little bit about yourself, man. I'll let you take it from here.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you, Khaled. Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. I am extremely humbled that Khaled asked me to talk with you all here. Everything that we're going to discuss today is I'm all about tactics that you can apply to your business today. I hate fluff, so my goal is not to give you anything fluffy, but exactly, what I'm doing in my market, which is going to be applicable in any market. Big salute to you all here that just finished up Eid Mubarak. That's to my brothers and sisters in that space. I know that's a tough time to navigate, so I'm glad to be in alignment with you guys in that capacity. But yeah, we're gonna talk through, what I'm doing in my wheelhouse right now, as far as how to prepare for the springtime. I do request, if possible, if you can be on camera, cool. If not, totally understand. But I may ask questions, throughout this conversation. That way we're all engaged. And if there's anything that you guys want me to double click on as we're kind of talking through everything today, please let me know. This is going to be very, very much give and go, and we're going to get after it. Um, so we're in the springtime. Obviously, folks are coming out of hibernation, and buyers and sellers are now seeing, what the market is going to look like for them to make certain decisions. Put a one in the chat if you have experienced any clients at the present time that said that they want to wait until things warm up before they make a decision. Has anybody dealt with anything of that capacity, where a client has just said for one reason or the other that they'd like to wait until things warm up? Okay, Kyle has
Not
dealt with.
yet.
Not yet. Okay. Fatima said not yet. Kyle, you said you dealt with that. Was that for on a buyer situation or a seller that's interested in selling once things warm up?
Seller.
Seller. Okay. What was their rationale behind it? Did they feel like when it was colder that it probably would not be a good time, or what was some of the things that they were telling you that caused them to say they want to wait?
Well, they wanted to wait because we had put the home on the market and it didn't really get a lot of hits. Um, and the reason why is because it was priced too much. I mean, 99.9% of the time, it's the reason is because it's priced too high.
Right.
Um, but they felt like, okay, if we stop it and we come back during the spring or summertime, then we may get better looks.
Right. And that's a sentiment that a lot of, sellers are looking at right now. And then obviously today, and I don't get political, but today it's supposed to is what's called Liberation Day in Washington and with President Trump. So there's a lot of uncertainty that we're navigating right now. And I just tell other agents what I'm telling myself is that our job as real estate professionals is to stay in the pocket. regardless of what's going on in the world right now, we have to be that steady hand in the midst of a lot of chaos right now, especially because you guys are fairly close to the DC market, and all of the, government entities that are getting shut down here in Atlanta. The CDC, in addition to that, some other government entities have been shut down. So a lot of individuals that may not have been thinking about selling, unfortunately, are going to be in a situation where they may have to sell, right? And so what I'm doing is to be as kind as possible as a real estate agent in this springtime that we're navigating right now with everything else that's going on. So what I'm telling myself, and I'm big on taking notes if anybody wants to write this down, but what I'm telling myself is that consistency beats intensity. All right. It's those small daily actions that will get you the big results that you need. You might think that, weekly text message to that buyer client or that email that you are sending through your drip campaign to that seller client is not going to get you anywhere. But I find that consistently showing up in my clients' email address, text message, a phone call, whatever works for you is going to be the best way to not only not be forgotten, but to let that buyer or seller client know that they have somebody that's looking out for them, right? And so as we're going into the springtime, I don't want anyone to feel like they have to have a huge network to make an impact at some point. If I know a few of you here are brand new agents, but we have to just start looking at what are those small daily things that we can do every single day to get a big result. One of the things that I love about what Khalid does is every day that I turn on my Instagram, I hear "Okay Philly." He starts it off. "Okay Philly." He's got his spiel that he introduces his video content, and he's at a different property, in his market. Before our call today, I just set up because I'll be traveling here in a few days and I'll be, completely off the grid. But I just mapped out my marketing campaign and my videos for social media for the entire month of April. And I was able to do that with what is relatively about 30 minutes of video that I just recorded. And I chopped that video up into small bite-sized pieces. And you're able to do that with a free app like CapCut or Riverside FM. And now I've got content that while I'm doing the day-to-day belly-to-belly outreach, making calls, sending text messages, so on and so forth, I have another version of myself because we can't legally clone ourselves, at least not to my knowledge. But I have a version of myself that's speaking to my potential buyer and seller prospects 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And I scheduled that out on three different platforms, the same video, but I scheduled it out on three different platforms: TikTok, Instagram, as well as YouTube Shorts. And I should actually say four platforms because Facebook also has a Reels function. So, will that generate me anything immediate? Probably not. But it's that small daily action of showing up on social media in some capacity. And when that particular buyer is ready to buy, they will have seen my face enough times. They'll see Khaled's face enough times that they will eventually put their hand up and say, "Okay, I've been watching your videos for some time now. I'm ready to go." And I didn't even know that this individual had literally established a rapport with me online, that they already feel like they know me, and they're like, it's not even, I don't even have to sell myself. They're already ready to go. And that's because some time ago, a couple years ago, when I started getting on social media and taking it more seriously, instead of always just looking at what's going on the shade room or, some other thing that's not adding to my day, I realized that when an app is 100% free, that means that I am the product, right? So that app's job is to keep me on their platform for as long as possible, because ever so often while we're scrolling, we're going to see ads. I know I do. I see ads for various different services on my timeline. So I want you all here to think of yourself as little micro enterprises and show up whether you feel like I'm brand new, Marvin, and I don't even, I just got my license. Nobody needs to know that. And I can assure you, if you show up consistently enough, nobody's going to care. Ultimately, you're providing information that's helpful to them. You could do, like I said, a video tour video like Khaled does on a regular basis. It could be what I do, where I'm breaking down something that I learned from my study material when we all got our license. We all take the same national exam, regardless of the state. And I take one aspect of my study material, and then I just sit in front of a camera and I talk to an audience and tell them, what is a, I don't know, what is a homeowners association and why that may or may not be beneficial to you in your next home purchase. I know on the East Coast, y'all hate HOAs. In the East Coast, a lot of my folks that come down south, they're like, I do not want an HOA. And I'm like, listen, every HOA is different. But educating clients on why having an HOA may be beneficial to them, it might sound mundane. It might sound like, well, why would somebody care about that? But you all would be very surprised to know that there are a lot of people that have no earthly idea about the home buying process, and they're waiting on Fatima, they're waiting on Latifa, they're waiting on Jared to be that person that resonates with them and educates them. Because you know what, Jared, you may remind a client of their brother, of their nephew, of their son, and they just make the decision to do business with you because you showed up on their timeline and they already recognized you in some capacity, and felt like they had a rapport with you. So that's kind of what I'm kind of thinking, at least as we get started on this. Does anyone have any thoughts before we continue, or anything you'd like to add, in regards to that? Nobody? Okay, no worries. So, how do we do this? So, I just talked big picture as far as the importance of those small daily actions and how those compound into big results. Okay. You might say, Marv, that sounds great. How do I get started on day one? All right. First thing is, although this camera that I'm talking to you on is a very expensive camera that I bought and I use for all of my YouTube content and social media, you don't have to have a fancy schmancy camera to make an impact. My most viral video on social media, and I'm going to keep talking about social media, y'all, because that is the number one way to generate leads without paying a dime for it. But my most viral video on my social media, on my TikTok, and if you guys are on any social platforms, give me a follow. I like to give you a follow as well at Sold by Marvin. But my most viral video is a video that I recorded on my iPhone in in a section of my home, and I just literally just got on camera and I talked about, which was pretty hilarious. I talked about an aspect of a real estate program. Let me see if I can mute this here. Hold on one second. I talked about a loan program that's out right now that, is tied to the Costco. Khalid, am I able to share my screen?
Yes, you're
Can you
the
hear me?
host now.
Okay. All right. Can you all see my screen? Hold on.
Not yet. There we go.
All right. So my most viral video is me with my terrible attempt at a Philly beard, sitting in front of my bookshelf, talking about the Costco home loan program. Ignore this brokerage that's here. That's my former brokerage. But but anywho, me simply taking information because I'm a Costco member. I, you know how at every Costco, you know how y'all, as you're walking and exiting a Costco, you know how there'll be like different companies or different like plumbing companies, roofing companies, as you're walking out with your stuff. If any of you have a Costco membership, they'll hand you little pamphlets of other services that are connected to Costco. So I just literally by happenstance picked up one of the pamphlets, and it was talking about the fact that Costco is in the home loan business. And the benefit at the time when they had this program, they don't have it anymore, but the benefit at the time was that anybody that was a Costco member would be able to get a loan with a very reputable bank, nationwide bank, but they would not pay an origination fee, which in some cases, that origination fee is a fee associated with getting a loan, for those that don't know. But that origination fee can be as much as 1% of the loan price. So if I'm able to save my client, 1% of their loan just for having a Costco membership, I'm gonna look like an amazing agent in that client's eyes. So I literally just took something that I've learned and I didn't make any assumptions that people knew about this. I did a video on it, and this video got, at this point, almost 800,000 views on TikTok and still generates me leads to this day. And I did this video 2022. So 3 years ago, I recorded this video and I'm still able to generate leads on it. So I would tell you that all you would need to do is just pick up your iPhone, get a decent tripod, and then make an attempt every single day to share one helpful piece of information. It could be, talking about the whole, interest rate market right now, where you're just explaining right now today's interest rates are, 5%. But I know this community here in Philadelphia, especially if there's a new construction community, the majority of those areas is probably with Philly is probably going to be more in the suburbs, but there are new construction builders in every state. And if you're having conversations with those builders by giving them a call to say, hey, what kind of incentives are you offering buyers if they go into contract with you? In a lot of cases, those builders will let you know, yeah, we're offering, a fixed rate of 4.5%, or we're offering $50,000 towards, upgrades in the home. That piece of information, y'all, is helpful to somebody that may not know about that particular builder. Those builders may not necessarily have the advertising dollars to put up on a regular basis, but because Fatima showed up and did a video talking about a particular builder in her area and what incentives they're offering for the month of April, somehow, some way, the TikTok or the Instagram algorithm will put your video in front of a person that it thinks will get value from that information. And that person's going to give you a call and say, hey, Fatima, I saw your video. Can you tell me a little bit more about that builder? How would that make you feel, Fatima, if you got a random call on a Wednesday saying that this person found your information on social media about that particular home? How would that make you feel?
I'd be excited.
And why is that?
Because it was free and I just, took something that is probably easy to find and just posted or shared it with others and they came to me for more help.
Absolutely. I'm a cheapskate, y'all. I'm a complete frugal guy. I do not like to spend money on leads if I can help it. Now, I'm not opposed to spending money on leads, but what I will say is I will maximize the free way, if possible, because I don't want to spend money on leads that I don't know what's going to be the outcome of those leads. So, for example, you could spend $20 a day on leads on Facebook or Google. You could do that, but why would you do that before you show up on camera on a regular basis to just introduce yourself with helpful information? You don't pay for that lead. It's not like it's Zillow where you got to pay upwards of 35, 40%. And that particular person, you don't know if they understand how you do business, if they understand that you may have, certain obligations to where you're not available or whatever the case is, that they understand your business the way that you run it. And now it turns into a situation where you butt heads and you spent all that money on a lead that did not actually turn into something tangible. So me personally, on my social media and on any and all content that I create, I'm always representing where I'm from, Houston, the things that are important to me. As you see, I've got a lot of art behind me that's representative of Black culture. Not that I'm necessarily just targeting one particular group of people, but what I'm saying is what you see is exactly what you're going to get. So I'd rather show up being my most authentic, true self professionally, of course. I'm not gonna show up, looking like Al Bundy and nothing like that. But I'm gonna be my most authentic, true self on my content. That way, when you see me in person, you know exactly who it is that you're dealing with. And I'm not trying to be for everybody. I'm just trying to be the agent for that person that I remind them of, as I use in my social media tagline, their brother, their uncle, their favorite realtor's favorite realtor. That's my mindset, is that I want to remind you of someone in your family, because ultimately, if we do business together and I help you get a fantastic deal on a home, or I help you make, 2, 3x profit on the sale of your property, you're gonna love working with me for life. You're gonna consider me family, and when it's time to buy or sell the next property, I'm gonna be that agent that you're thinking about. So, and I didn't mean to kind of go off on a tangent there, but I just want you guys to really start thinking about that right now. And if it were me, I would be reaching out to every agent with Real on your MLS. And there's a way, if you have Lofty, there is a way that you can see what realtors nearby have current properties for sale. Does everyone here have the Lofty CRM, or does anyone not currently use Lofty? Just put your hand up. Okay. So everybody with the exception of me and Khaled. Okay. So it may be a good idea to maybe get with Khaled, and since he does have access to Lofty, because there is a section here on the Lofty website, and you don't have to get it, but I think personally it's the best $40 that I spend every month. It keeps me, top of mind with all of my clients, and I think they're offering like a 6-week free trial at the present time. But let me share my screen here just so we can look at this together. Can y'all see my screen? All
Yes.
right, cool. So here at Real, and as with most brokerages, they only want you to market listings and do open houses for properties that are also under the brokerage. So, and this is if Khaled, if you didn't know how to do this, I'm just gonna walk through this. So if I click on listings right here, it's gonna take me, of course, this is my market, the Atlanta market. But if you click on where it says office listings right here, there's approximately 648 agents with Real in my city that have active listings. So if I was trying to crack the luxury market, for example, if you're a newer agent, I would say don't go for luxury right now, because I would personally rather mess up on a lower end deal, get those mess ups out of the way, than to mess up on $1 million deal, right? But in my market, the median home price is around 500,000 here in Georgia. So I would hit up any of these agents here that are with Real and just say, hey, I see you're listing here on River Glen Drive here in Jefferson, Georgia, for example. This is a very beautifully staged home. It looks like something off of HGTV. So kudos to that agent. So I would ask this agent, hey, do you mind if I do a home tour video in your property? Of course, I'm going to give you credit, but I'm really trying to shop as many homes as possible to my buyer network. Who is your buyer network, y'all? The people that are subscribed to you on social media, the people that follow you on YouTube. Your buyer network doesn't necessarily have to be an active client that you're working with. Our job every single day is to prospect, right? So anybody that follows us on social media, if we have let everybody know that we do real estate, that is a potential buyer. It may not necessarily be them, but it could be someone in their network. So when you look at it that way, you have a ton of homes that you can tour. That, of course, this is a very nicely staged home, but you just look on your MLS to see which home looks to be very well done. I know the homes on the East Coast look a little different than they do down south, but the inside is always going to either be really nice, nicely decorated, or not. So I would say pick the one that looks something like this. Now you have content that you can do a home tour, like how Khaled does his home tour videos, where he puts a call to action in every video that directs people to his fundmykeys.com. And I use Khaled as a case study, talking to some of my other business partners and their agents, that having a tagline that you use on every single video that you put out on social media is, for one, is going to benefit the person watching your video, because they're going to see you walking through a beautiful home like this, for example. But for two, you don't want them to just watch your video and then go to the next swipe. You want them to actually do something. So in Khaled's case, he directs them to his CRM, which is tied to his Fund My Keys. But for you, you may not have a CRM. So maybe within the first 10 seconds, this is Jared Holloway with Real Broker. 404, whatever the area code is in Philly or wherever you are. But in my case, this is Marvin Orieh with Real Broker, 404-624-6127. Today we're touring this beautiful 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom home in Jefferson, Georgia. Right now, priced under 425,000. If you want to set up your personal tour, please shoot me a DM or give me a call. And as I'm walking through that home, I gave within the first 10 seconds, because that's usually how long individuals stay on a post before they swipe to the next thing. I've at least dropped my telephone number. So if it's someone that's actually interested in looking at this home, hopefully the video will replay if they stay on it, long enough, and they can give me a call. So now, boom, I took 30 seconds to introduce myself. Maybe I took 10 minutes to walk through this home. And now that video is going to sit on, because I'm going to take the same video, I'm gonna post it on TikTok. I'm gonna post it on Instagram. I'm gonna post it on YouTube Shorts, which is really an under-leveraged platform that YouTube's trying to get into the social media space. So they're really pushing content like this. And now, from one of those three places, somebody's gonna give me a call. Somebody's are gonna give me a call about this same one home. But now, from this one home, if it's viewed 100 times, maybe 2 or 3 prospects will come from it, and out of that, one person I'll get to closing. That's usually the cadence. But in addition to that, how you turn one property into 3 different pieces of content is, in addition to doing a home tour, you might ask this agent, "Hey, agent, I noticed that this property has been on the market for a little while. Would it be okay if I, do an open house for you for, the next 2 weekends?" You're not going to run into an agent that's going to tell you, "No, you can't do an open house for me," especially if that home's been sitting for some time. That agent's going to want as many people sitting that home for them as possible, because the benefit for you is that you get to, for lack of a better word, look like the listing agent for that property. And if anybody's just walking around in the area and they stumble into that property, they're going to ask you questions, assuming that you are the listing agent. Hopefully they'll be unrepresented and they love this home, especially a home that's very nicely, staged like this home is. And now, boom, you get your 3 or 4% or whatever just by simply sitting in a home, occupying it at the right time, and then an unrepresented buyer walks in. Does anyone here have any questions so far? Nobody? Okay, cool.
I have a
All right.
question.
Was this particular explanation here as far as how to find all of the homes that are real agent listed? Is this something that's helpful for anyone here that wants an idea, you know, of homes that they can target to potentially do open houses for, or shoot social media content?
Hey Marvin, this is Gerard. Can you hear me?
Hey, Gerard, what's up, brother?
Okay, so I have a question. Can you,
Yeah.
because I don't have Lofty, is this possible? And I'm not sure, I was trying to look through my phone, but is this possible to do the same thing off of the MLS Bright? Like, does it list, like, break it down by brokerage or listing offices?
Typically, if you see, my MLS here in Georgia is First MLS, but there usually is a section that says office. If you see the word office listings, then yes, that's
Okay,
every listing tied to your specific
all
brokerage.
right. I'm just
Yeah,
trying to use what I
there is
have.
a way. Yeah, there
Okay,
in Bright, there's a way for you to get all the people that's in real.
yeah,
Yep.
all right.
And the power of that. Uh-oh, hold on, fix my camera here. The power in doing that, y'all, is, for one, if you do this enough times, you're going to get a prospect. Somebody, especially now when it's warming up, there are individuals that are looking for homes every single day. Every day. They're on Zillow, they're on realtor.com, they're on all of those websites looking for homes. But the ones, at least in my experience, that really, really pop are the individuals that actually take you through that property in real time. Because a good photographer can pull up all kinds of, do all kind of cool things with the camera to make that home look a certain kind of way. But, a meth house is a meth house. It don't matter how nicely you put a filter on it. So it would be best to actually be that boots on the ground. Again, highlighting you guys' amazing business partner in college. When he's the real estate bull, I mean, that's really what he is. He's in these streets doing what he needs to do. And if I'm not mistaken, Khaled has capped or very close to capping. And that's because of that daily activity. At least, I don't know, Khaled, what's your schedule on when you do like all the home tours? Do you pick one day of the week that you do it? Do you just go out every single day and do home tours? How do you kind of walk through all that content you posted?
Sunday. Yeah, Sundays. Sundays I go out. I pick two properties either the night before or the day of, and I go out there and I'll shoot a long form and I'll shoot a short form.
Okay, so Sundays. All right. And why Sunday? Is that the day where you don't have anything else going on? Is that just your designated day for real estate? What was so special about Sunday?
Listen, I got with five kids, you always got something going on. So but that's usually the time where I can kind of get out and get it done. And then yeah, that's the slowest of the busy time. Let's put it like that.
Okay. All right, cool. Does anyone else here have any day in their Monday through Sunday that they dedicate to real estate? Or if you haven't done that, can anyone here, does anyone here want to come off mute to talk about a particular part of the day or part of the week that might be ideal to do a home tour or do an open house? Anybody? Any ideas here?
Sure, and I do have a question. For me, I do work a regular 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, so Saturdays would be better for me. Now, when you say home tours, I'm my brain is trying to process because I've seen Khalid's videos, and I always assume when you're doing those videos that you're the listing agent, but now it's starting to sound like you're not necessarily the listing agent. So I always assumed if I didn't have a listing, I wouldn't be doing those videos.
Oh no, yeah, no. When you are a licensed real estate agent, every single home in the MLS is your playground. So you can call any agent that has a listing, again with real, just for compliance sake, and just say, I'd like to do a home video tour. So the way that I do it, that usually doesn't give me any pushback from other agents, because if you just tell an agent in $1 million property, hey, I just want to come up there and shoot some video for my Instagram, the majority of them are gonna say, "Oh no, I don't want this. Ain't this not worth it? To have you." Or their seller might say, "Well, I don't want somebody in my house that just wants to come and shoot video for social media." So the way that I phrase it is, I say I have some buyer prospects that would like for me to do a home tour on your property on Saturday at 12 o'clock. I get very, very specific. And I say, is it okay to do a quick video shoot for them? And if they do pass on it, is it okay to post it to my wider network, which could include social media? By saying that, for one, you stay compliant. Two, you let that agent know that this video is I am recording video for a buyer prospect, but you're vague in that, well, who's the buyer prospect? As I mentioned, anybody that's in your wheelhouse that you would be happy to sell a house to is your buyer prospect. So you have to get their permission, the agent's permission, but it doesn't have to be anything formal. You just, in most cases, I just shoot them a text, let them know when I'd like to be out there, let them know that I'd like to do a video tour for my buyer prospects, and where can I find the lockbox? I just assume they're not going to give me no pushback. So I just ask them, where can I find the lockbox? And when they respond to me, that lets me know, okay, cool, they're great with me doing that. And yeah, that's a home. When you post it on social media, you do have to credit the listing agent in the description of your video on social. And what I do is, if I shoot a video long form, then I typically will put the listing agent's name and brokerage in the description of my video. That's all you have to do. But I don't give them the agent's number or any other contact information, because I want that person to find me and give me a call if they're interested in touring this home. So sharing my screen one final time here. This is my YouTube channel that's for home tours, and this is someone else's listing. I was driving to my listing and I passed by this home, and I just hit up the agent, and like I just told you guys, and I was very vague. Again, Vegas don't lie, of course, but nothing wrong with being vague and letting them know, hey, I have a buyer prospect that's interested in this home. And I, again, took my iPhone. All this was shot on an iPhone. And you guys can't hear me, but I'm introducing myself. And in the first 30 seconds, boom, I put my QR code here, and you can generate a QR code in Canva for free. But I put this QR code here so that if anyone's interested in scheduling a time to talk, in case they didn't hear my telephone number, in case they didn't hear anything when they first went to the video, if they see a QR code that has the words learn more, I designed this in Canva, assuming that every person that's on YouTube isn't on YouTube through a smartphone. There's a lot of people that are on YouTube from a TV. That's actually one of the largest areas that people view YouTube is through a television. Does anybody here watch YouTube through a TV? I know I do.
I know people who do.
Say it again.
I was just saying, I know people who do.
Yeah. So because of that, I had to get smart. And I learned this through, I think it was one of the classes here at Real. I had to get smart and say, okay, instead of putting my contact information in the description where a person that's on a smartphone probably can't see it, or a person that's watching this on TV, if they're watching this on the TV, then all they got to do is just scan that QR code. That's going to take them to my Calendly, a Google Calendar, to set up a buyer consultation. So this video has at the present time 1,200 views. So that means 1,200 people have watched this video. That's how I look at it. Even if you do a video that has 50 views, where are you going to find 50 people that are willing to listen to what you have to say? So don't forsake the small things, as they say. Anything that you do on social media, it will count towards getting you to your next client. You just have to stay, consistent with it. But outside of all of this, because you might say, well, Marvin, that, video, I'm not quite comfortable on video. That's not my thing. That's okay. Little by little, make it your thing. If you're not super comfortable being in front of the camera, be behind the camera like Khaled is. Sometimes when I don't have a haircut, I'm not in front of the camera at all. I'm behind the camera and I'm simply walking at home in gym clothes or whatever, but I still put a drop in the bucket, as I mentioned, that small action that gets me to that next goal. So I would start with video, or if you do a lot of video, do even more in a very strategic way. Maybe only look at homes that really, 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 really look great. Because again, you never know who's going to reach out to you in regards to it. I had a call actually from a gentleman in Wisconsin that called me about that black house. He asked me if that home was still for sale. I don't know if it's still for sale, but I did say, you know what, if it's not available, I have something similar to it. And I immediately started asking him questions to get him in my CRM for further follow-up, because he just called me from YouTube. He just assumed it was my listing, even though I said on the entire video that I'm not the listing agent. People don't listen, but it's okay. I want people to call me and learn more about that home so that I can get my commission for that sale. But if that's not where you're at right now, just look to do that. Again, just start reaching out to other agents, asking those other agents with Real that are doing business at a high level, and let me know, Khaled, if we have a certain cutoff time here. I got a few more minutes. I want to leave open for Q&A. But in addition to that, I would ask any high volume agent in my area, do they have anything that they need assistance with? Right? Everyone here is a solo agent. I don't think, Kelly, you have a formal team, if I'm not mistaken. Everybody's just entrepreneurs, and you all come together like Voltron, once a week for these types of calls. But you may see value in teaming up with a high performing agent that's a little bit closer to you, maybe someone that does not want to deal with a traditional team, but maybe they've got leads on another part of town that they really don't want to drive all the way over there. And maybe you offer to help all of the clients on the south side if that agent's on the north side, or vice versa. There are a lot of agents that need help. They just don't know how to ask for it. And again, they don't want to have the hassle of a formal team. So maybe you just have little small partnerships with other producing agents in your area, people that do business at a significantly higher level, and rock out that way. You know what I mean? Where you're not necessarily their assistant, but you're kind of the Robin to them being Batman. Because if they're doing business at a high level, there's something that they need help with that they may not want to get a TC on or something like that. And again, that can lead you to other opportunities. I know for me personally, Atlanta's big, but it's small at the same time. And the part of Atlanta that I live in, it's like an hour just to get to another part of Atlanta. It's crazy, the traffic here. So I would much rather have an agent that I trust, a Gerard that's on a part of the city, maybe closer to where Buckhead is, if you're familiar with Atlanta. Then for me, if I have a buyer client that's interested in buying in Buckhead, I'm not driving from where I live. I live close to Athens. I'm not driving from Athens to Buckhead every single day. That's just not feasible. I would rather partner with an agent like Gerard who lives in that area, who can do all the showings for me, rather than paying a showing agent or a rando from showing time. I'd rather just say, hey, boom, Gerard, let's split this client 50-50. You do all of the showings. I generated this client. This is a lead of mine. And then we split it 50-50. Gerard, it's not a big deal for him. This is in his area anyway, right? And he's going to get 50% of the commission for a lead that he didn't have to generate on his own. And he just has to drive maybe 10 minutes, where for me, it would be an hour and a half drive. That's a very simple partnership that I just treat like a regular referral. That's how I handle a lot of the leads that I get, even within my own city. I'm just not driving if I can help it. I would rather give 50% of a watermelon than 100% of a grape. And the way that I'm looking at it is I come from an abundance mindset. So that young hustler, that young agent that just got their license, they're more than happy to do all the driving, because again, it's in their area. They want to get to their first deal or their next deal. So they're happy to do it. It turns into a win-win for me and for them. So, fair exchange, no robbery. That's my mindset. Let's just do some business. And if I see that agent's really getting after it, well, now I know, okay, Fatima is my Buckhead agent. Gerard is I'm just naming random places in Atlanta, but I don't know anything about Philly, but other than the cheesesteak. But wherever you are, just start thinking like that. Like, where can I start creating some strategic partnerships with agents that I'm seeing are doing a lot of business, and how can I add value to them that'll get me to my next deal? That's my logic on that. But let's talk through some scenarios. What are some of the things that you guys are dealing with the next 5 to 10 minutes here? What are some things that you guys want to talk through? What are some scenarios that y'all are currently dealing with? And let's make this as impactful as possible.
I was going to mention this scenario with my sister, but I'll let Fatima mention it because she found a local realtor in her area that she wanted one of us to work with, but she's not in real. So we were trying to figure out how would that work. And I was like, I guess she would be a mentor per se, but it was a little confusing. So that was a scenario that me and my sister, Fatima, was trying to figure out how does that work?
Yeah, so you can partner up with any agent, with any brokerage. I mean, of course, it'd be great for them to be here if it makes sense for them. But if not, you can have a situation where, if it's a person with Keller or whatever, where if there's an actual opportunity, you guys just treat it as a referral. Either you bring them in and they help you for 10%. That's usually the mentor fee. When you get assistance from another more experienced agent, I usually say don't pay them more than 10% unless you're leveraging their skill set and their network. Let's say it's your first listing and you bring in a high-powered agent. Well, they probably will ask for a little bit more than that, but in my understanding, and I know if it's like this in Georgia, it's probably this way in Philadelphia, is that they can assist you with all things related to like the paperwork, but you all could not formally, let's say, co-list a property where it's Latifa, is that how you pronounce your name? Okay, where it's Latifa with real, and then Marcus with killer. When you can't like co-list it like that, but you can pay them quote unquote a 5% or 10% referral. If they help you in some capacity, with the paperwork, or it just depends on the scope of what they need. I would always say anything like that, just reach out to the managing broker for your state, let them know the scenario that you're thinking about doing, and they'll tell you the most compliant way to walk through that. But great question. And is everyone here in Philadelphia? Okay, awesome, awesome. So with that being the case, um, from what I'm seeing, a lot of the homes in Philadelphia are more in the city. Are there homes that are they're always, I know on the East Coast, everything's kind of split level, like duplex kind of situation. But what are some other types of structures that are typically for sale in the in you all's market? Is it just those types of homes, or are there any other types of properties, townhomes, condos? What else is in the city of Philadelphia that sell typically?
All right. Well, Philadelphia is one of the oldest cities, so we got everything,
Okay.
from the rooter to the tutor. So whether that's multifamily, whether it's single family, whether it's twin, whether it's multifamily, whether it's a rancher, um, you really got everything here.
So if it were me, specifically to that multifamily, I would, phew, there's so many people that don't know the easiest way to being a real estate investor is through the FHA program. And as many of us already know here, with an FHA program, if it's 4 units, up to 4 units, you can buy the entire property, live in 1 unit, rent out the other 3 units, and have only put down 3.5%. So if the average price in your market is, let's say for that particular unit, for example, is, let's say it's $550,000. I'm just using a random number. 3.5% of that is $19,000. So I would do a video that says, want to know how you can own a $500,000 property and become a real estate investor on day one, only putting down $19,000? Watch this video. And then boom, as you're walking through that home, you can explain how the FHA program allows you to live in one of the units while renting out the other 3 units. And you could go on a website like rentometer.com, look up the average rent in your particular zip code, and explain that for only $19,000 down, this property can generate, let's just say $3,000 a month in pure cash flow, rental income. That type of video would probably go super viral because you're explaining that $500,000, that's scary to people, but I only have to put down $19,000. Again, that's 3.5%. It might even be even less than that. Um, because traditionally, if you wanted to be an investor in real estate, you typically have to put down 20% or more, 15 to 20%. But if you're purchasing the home and it's multi-unit and you live in one and you rent out the other three, that's the workaround that allows anybody to be a real estate investor on day one. It could be a duplex, triplex, whatever. As long as you live in one of those units, then you can rent out the other ones and enjoy that income. So that's a video idea in and of itself, right? But if you want to take yourself out of the equation and not even have to think about this, well, then leverage good old Chat GPT. How many of you all use Chat GPT in some capacity?
Little.
Okay, Gerard, how do you leverage Chat GPT? And then we'll go to Fatima, and then we'll wrap.
Every day. I use it every day.
Okay.
Especially for my postings, I search creative hashtags that get you the most visibility. Um, Captions I use it for if I'm like stuck on any captions. But I do have a question. Can I go back to that investor scenario?
Yeah, go
So
ahead.
with that 19K that's down, can you use those grants or any grants with that down payment to help with that?
Yeah, yeah. So
That's what I thought.
i-
Okay.
yeah, any down
Hold on,
payment
hold on.
assistance.
Yeah,
Go
let me
ahead.
jump in there a little bit because you guys just understand that real estate is local. So what might be applicable to the Atlanta market may not be applicable to here. So Gerard, just to answer your question, most of them go up to 2 units. So they'll do duplexes. They'll do
Got you.
duplexes all day. But when you go to 3 or 4, they like, nah, this is, I mean, it's personal property. It's not commercial, it's residential, but you're getting on the investor side. So I've never seen a down payment assistance program do 3 or 4, but they'll definitely do 2 all day.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
But yet and still, you can still use the FHA program. That FHA program has made many a real estate investor out of the gate. Mom and pop, teachers, firemen, police officers. You can be a real estate investor on day one as long as you're willing to live in that home. And if you're a VA client to our military folks, explaining the benefits of that. I use ChatGPT and I say, ChatGPT, this is the prompt I usually give it. Give me 10 social media posting ideas related to real estate that are relative to the Atlanta market or relative to the Philadelphia market. Give me 10 social media posting ideas, and then you can break it down even more. And ChatGPT loves when you say thank you. So I don't know what's up with that, but you just say, "Hey, my name is Fatima. I'm a local. I'm sorry, Fatima. I'm a local real estate agent here in whatever your county is. Give me 10 posting ideas for the week." I say 10 just because I want to have 7 days of content and then three change, variables. If I don't like the seven it comes up with, it gives me three more ideas that I can kind of sub out. And I just do that every single week. Make it relative to my local market, and something that I can create within 30 minutes, something like that. And if you all are on Instagram, and this will be my last thing, Khaled. I said 30 minutes, so I'm going for hours. So I apologize. I hope you guys are getting value from this conversation because when that tangent get to tangent, and I just make it do what it do. But I'm a big proponent of leveraging the free technology that's out there. So I personally use uh, Facebook business page, and all you need is a Facebook business account. Is everyone here on Facebook? Okay, excellent. As you know, Facebook will not allow you on your personal page, or you shouldn't on your personal page, post business related stuff. That'll be one of the fastest ways to get your account terminated. So just create a separate Facebook business account if you don't have one already. It's absolutely free. And with that, you get something called a Facebook Business Manager. And that's what we're looking at right here. And this is, again, I take one video, I use CapCut. CapCut has a little option that allows me to break down long form video into little social media posts. And then I've got content all the way through April 30th because, as I mentioned, I'll be going out of town here shortly, but I still want myself to be advertising on a regular basis. So if any of you guys follow me at Sold by Marvin on Instagram or TikTok or Facebook, you'll see a post every single day for the entire month of April. And I was able to create that off of 3 long form videos. So that's pretty powerful, that's available. And Facebook Business Manager will allow you to schedule it out, which they have a planner function, which is right here. And it will tell you the best times to post on Facebook, the best times to post on Instagram. It will tell you based on the individuals that follow you, it will tell you this is when the majority of your subscribers or followers are most active on the platform. So they're giving you the cheat code on how you can get the most eyeballs on the content that you are posting. But I've personally found that TikTok, which my 12-year-old daughter told me TikTok is not meant for old people like me, but I took it as a challenge to say, okay, I'm gonna post on TikTok as well. And TikTok also has a calendar function that you can schedule content out. And I get the majority of my leads from TikTok, believe it or not. Like people on TikTok are super dialed in on that platform. They have a shorter attention span, but boy, the leads and the reach that TikTok has, it may not be here in a few weeks with these tariffs. I don't know how what's going to happen with that, but they keep threatening to shut it down. But while the system is here, TikTok would be somewhere that I would strongly suggest you guys really start. If you want to start getting not viral, but start getting momentum very quickly, post the same doggone content on these other places. Post it on TikTok as well, and come back to me in 30 days and let me know any wins that you get from it. So that's it, Cal. That's all I got. Is anybody have any other questions? We got about 2 more minutes before I got to drop off. Anybody got any other questions for me?
The last question I had was when we were talking about contacting new builders or new construction. Do you recommend us just Google them or go into like Facebook groups and find maybe not local, but I guess like local builders or something?
So I would start on so I was talking about how you can only market a home for a real agent here. So again, I tend to, well, can you stop recording, Kyle, later? I just don't want to before I say what I'm about to say here.
Back on. All right, guys. So we're looking at down payment assistance. Okay. So how do you find out what down payment assistance is available for your clients? The first thing you guys want to do is you want to start going out to lunch with these lenders. Okay. So you can go on my screen. I am going to share my screen. All right, screen number 2. And I think I've showed this before, but my lenders, if you go to www.southcarolina.com, you go to preferred lenders, okay? I may change this at some point in time, but right now, these were all my lenders are, okay? And if you kind of read all of the one-liners here, it tells you about their particular grants, okay? Um, there's not there's basically 3 levels. One is the local level. So that's like Philly First. The local level is the city. Okay. So you have the $10,000 from Philly First. So you can Google what Philly First is. They have they have a website and they have a pamphlet. So you can look at that. You can research that. Then on the state level, you have PHFA. PHFA. Most people, because they have several first-time home buyer grants, most people use the KFIT. Even though I haven't heard a lot of people use them in a while, they used to be really hot, but now they're not for some reason. But KFIT is what people usually use. Then what you have is the third level is the proprietary grants and programs. So that's where you really, well, no, let me take a step back. There are some programs outside of that, like for example, the first front door. First front door is coming back April at the like middle of April, okay? But they only deal with banks, okay? They only deal with banks. So then you have other proprietary ones, like, and if you look at on my list here, Fulton Bank has a proprietary one. ESSA Bank, they have a grant that's $18,000, but it's only for Upper Darby, Lansdowne, West Philly, and Southwest Philly. Okay. Some of these stack, meaning that you can put one on top of the other. Some of them don't. So Gerard has a person who wants to go over as far as what, or he wants to talk with them as far as what the programs are. Okay. Here's my take on it. And I'm saying it like that because everybody does it different. Everybody does it different. Okay. My take is I never talk about the individual grants to the buyers. Okay. What I do is I get their information. And then once I get their information, then I'll try to see, okay, which one kind of makes more sense. Um, right now, I'm putting most people into Ann Evans King. Okay, hers is AMRES Corporation. Um, she's like a broker. Okay, so she'll take the person's application, and if she can do it through this company, this Amherst company, she'll do it through that. But then she has access to other packages or other programs also. Then I'm getting people to Fulton also, because this guy, Jeff Volk, he's really good. If you all can try to meet with him and try to have lunch with him to pick his brain, very, very sharp guy. And then ESS Bank, because if somebody wants to move to Upper Darby, Lansdowne, West Philly, or Southwest Philly, there's not a better program out there than this one, because they're getting $18,000. Okay. First National, they have a no down payment. They have a sweet program, no down payment. Okay. No PMI, and you only need a 620 or above. All right. And they also have a rate modification program. What that means is that in a certain amount of time, if the rates go down, they'll refi you automatically to where you don't have to pay another charge, because usually when you refi, you have to pay another charge for refining. Okay. Refinance means that you're getting a new loan. Okay, but you already have an existing loan, so it's not a new loan, it's a refinance. So with his particular program, a rate modification, you can modify the rate, meaning do a refinance without actually having to pay the cost of refinancing. The only catch with that is your DTI has to be low. I think it's like 45%. So your debt to income has to be low. You can't have a person that has a whole bunch of debt. Okay. He also deals with First Front Door, but he also has doctor loans. And Sister Fatima and Latifa, with your sister being a doctor, this is the person that I would bring to her. Is okay. They have special doctor loans where doctors love to be singled out. They love to be the center of attention. Okay, so when they hear that they have a doctor's loan, then it's like, hey, okay, I'm being taken care of. Um, so, Gerard, what I would do with your person is, rather than explaining the different programs to him, I would get his information. Okay. I would get as far as what his credit score is. What his credit score is, how much money he has earmarked for a down payment. What's his rental situation? Okay. Is he month to month, or is his leased out till like next year? Okay. Then I would get his employment. Okay. Has he been employed for 2 years or more? Okay. I would get that information from him. Then it's like, okay, I'm going to go back and kind of see what's the best 3 or 4 lender applications we should be talking about. And then what you can do is you can send me that information. And then based on that, I can be like, okay, you should have him fill out number 2, 3, and 4. Okay. And then you can kind of go back to him and it's like, all right, you can do one of two things. You can either send him this one, or you can click on it yourself and then send him that. And that's what I've done sometimes. Even last night, someone was saying that they wasn't getting a link. And what I did is I double clicked on it myself, and I sent them link by link by link, the 3 links. All right. Let me, so I know this has been a lot tonight, but just to kind of rehash, Marvin is my sponsor. Okay. So Marvin's my sponsor. So he's my partner. And then we have partners on top of him going up 7 levels. Like, his sponsor is a guy named Malcolm. If you ever go on YouTube and you type in real broker, Malcolm's like the #1 guy on YouTube. Okay. So he's somebody that's in he's our cousin. Okay. So you can reach out to him. So you can reach out going all the way up. And when you're in your Rezan, you should be able to see your upline. And when you get a downline, you should be able to see your downline. So I do want to kind of reiterate to y'all, if you do know people that are agents, you should be telling them about Real and letting them know, hey, we don't have any monthly I mean the we don't have any monthly desk fee. And I mean just the different things, okay? Just you should watch the videos on how to explain Real, but don't explain it when you talk to people. Just be like, hey, just want you to just talk to my man about the situation that we got at Real. It's phenomenal. And because um once you start seeing the fruits, then you'll really understand the power of revenue share. Um is super duper powerful. So in any case, it's been a long night as far as this. So does anybody have any questions before I let y'all go?
I have one question. You said proprietary. What is that? What does that mean?
Proprietary means that for it's specific for that bank. For example,
Okay.
Bank of America has a proprietary grant. It's a Bank of America grant. It's just funded by them. Um, WSFS, they have a proprietary grant also, an additional $5,000. It's just there. So it's a grant or forgivable loan company that's specifically for that particular bank or mortgage company.
So I would have to call those people that was on that list. I'm gonna definitely have to call them probably myself and see if they're stackable, basically. Because I know
If
I
they're what?
gave if they're stackable, if the grants are stackable.
Yeah. I mean,
Because I know that
most
they're
of them. Go ahead.
I'm
I'm
sorry.
sorry.
It's the one I gave her. So the client, my possible client, is like a sister to me. So it's a female. Um, but I gave her the number to uh hold on one second. I'm sorry. Um, I did give her Jeff. She's waiting on the call back for him. But it was another one I gave to. And they said that they changed it where it's not stackable anymore. So a lot of these uh vendors, I'm going to call it vendors or loan mortgage people, they change so like often.
They do.
So you might have to just call them before giving the information. Prosperity,
Right.
Prosperity Home Mortgage, I think that changed. Like their qualifications changed.
Well,
Um,
no, Prosperities didn't change
Prosperity.
the grant that was stackable ran out.
Okay.
It ran out. So that one I do have to change here. Because they just have access to what everybody else has access to. This was the
Okay.
golden egg for a hot minute. It was a golden
Okay.
egg, but now they yeah, you can hear my kids in the background. Um they kind of fell off because they
Okay.
ran out of money as far as what they was doing. So yeah,
Okay.
some of them you do have to keep. And I just went through this. I just didn't change this, but I went through this list like last week just to make sure. But in any case, you want to reach out to the people, have a conversation with them, let them know who you are, and you can definitely ask them about their grant program.
Okay, cool.
I did have a quick question. When you guys were talking about social media, you mentioned short form and long form. Can you explain what that is?
Sure. Long form is like a long video, like YouTube. You know how YouTube has, you can go 20, 30, 40 minutes on YouTube. So that's a long form. Short form are like reels. It's still a video, but it's only a minute. Shorts is only like 90 seconds. Um, the stories, the stories are only 60 seconds. So all that is short form. So anything that's like 2 minutes, TikTok's kind of a mixture because you can go 10 seconds, but you can go 15 or 20 minutes also. So does that make sense?
Yes, and this was helpful because I don't know social media at all. I'm not even on
Mm.
TikTok. I'm barely on any of the other ones, so I have to get better.
Facebook.
Um, so the last one, can you guys confirm what he said his email was? He told us to send it to get the newsletter. I think he said info at.
All right, give me 1 second. I'm gonna get it up here for you. I'm gonna type it. Uh, see, Marvin. right, bam, there we go. This is the one that I have. I'm gonna just give you this one. I am Marvin, the the realtor at Gmail. All right, that's the one I got.
Okay,
You may
thank
have another one, but that's the one. Okay, no. This is the one that he mentioned. Let me put this one. This info at sold by Marvin.com. Okay, that's probably the one he wants out. The info at sold by Marvin.com.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. So, all right. Anything else, guys?
No, I think we need more social media ones, at least for me.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I can rock out on the social media. So we can definitely start that up next week with the social media. I can jazz out to that. But hopefully let's talk Fatima and Latifa tomorrow about your sister.
Okay.
So I can give y'all some headway on where to go. So
Okay.
all right, y'all. I'll get on y'all.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Take care.